For every musical artist that has blown up on TikTok, from a 10-second snippet or a sassy hip-shaking little dance, only for me to listen to their music and feel a little bit underwhelmed, there are a few hidden gems on the Clock app that live up to my internet expectations. Enter Laila, the newest R&B singer on the scene. From her viral hits like That's and Not My Problem to her debut album Gap Year, after diving into her music, I can't help but to think we need to be talking about her artistry more. So let's do it. But first, welcome to the channel. Hey, hi, Wazan with it, I'm C, and I do rap and pop culture commentary. So if you're into that, subscribe and hit the like button. If you're like me, you discovered Laila with her sleeper hit turned viral track Like That. Many of us have seen 5011 TikToks and distraction dance challenges featuring the song, which catapulted to success in 2024, but the song actually dropped last year in March and it didn't really pop off at first. Maybe it was because Laila wasn't a super well-known artist at the time, or the fact that it was the first track that she ever released, at least from what I see on streaming platforms, other than the throwback R&B mixes and samples that she posts on her SoundCloud. But one thing for certain, the song feels absolutely infectious. One of those viral tracks that has the ability to put you in a trance. I feel like a case study could truly be done on what makes a song go crazy on the internet. Aside from social media dance trends and memes, one category consists of these vibey tracks, very old school R&B coded with a modern feel, that also have a bit of a vulnerable element, music that you can feel. Think Dustin Conrad's In the Air, Summer Walker and J. Cole's To Summer from Cole, and SZA's Saturn. But I'll be the first to say that I had a bit of a post-TikTok song clarity moment when I heard the full version of the Like That track. And oddly enough, I didn't really love it as much as the short snippets that I was hearing everywhere. I'm sure many of us have felt the same way when we listen to the full version of a song that came from a snippet that we enjoyed online. We try to find the artist and listen to more of their music as well. After all, one of the most important things about snagging a hit song because of the internet is keeping the momentum going. There's a small window that you really have to take advantage of before you slowly fade into the background. And seeing as Like That amassed over 15 million streams on Spotify, Laila knew it was time to drop something new. If Like That was our first real introduction to Laila, showing everyone that she could in fact create the vibes, Not My Problem showed us that she was capable of creating tracks that were catchy and possibly even on the humorous side. I'm here for the rise of a new young artist, so I simply wanted to hear more. And it really wasn't until I put on my discovery station that I came across a track that I loved, and it sounded a little bit like Laila, because it was In Control, which was the introductory song on her EP of the same name that dropped back in February of this year. Despite only being an EP, you can hear the potential that with a bit of refining and a few more tracks really gives album quality. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Laila produces her own tracks. She's been making beats since she was 14, a skill that she picked up during the pandemic with using GarageBand on her mom's computer, something that immediately makes her stand out amongst other artists, especially the young women that we see today, because she knows exactly how to piece a song together. Her beats and lyrics fit together perfectly. Songs like Show Me What You Want give me all of the early Brent Faiyaz vibes, someone she knows as a musical influence, while 80 and a 55 gives Laila the opportunity to show off her vocal range and show off her rapping chops too. If you were wondering, yes, Laila is the daughter of MC Mos Def, something that shines through on her songs because much of the lyrical content feels very much like spoken word poetry. If I could compare it to another artist, it reminds me of how Joey Badass used to spit way earlier in his career, specifically his debut mixtape 1999. Or one might even say that her rapping gives the vibe of Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill. It's clear that Laila has an appreciation for old school, classic R&B like Brandy and Aaliyah, and it's something that really shines on Gap Year, a project filled with relatability and vulnerability, with deep R&B roots, and she really plays on nostalgia. The project's title, which could very well showcase her taking a gap year from high school to college to pursue music, or even a gap year between transitioning from being a creative teenager to the world of professional music, just feels so personal. She opens the project with a snippet from a live performance, possibly at a talent show, and her shy introduction almost throws you for a loop until you hear her raw, amazing vocals. Laila just turned 18, but make no mistake, the vocals and subject matter feel so mature while still being age appropriate. She often talks about relationships and situationships, heartbreak and unrequited love, in the same way that a young Frank Ocean approached in many of his earlier works, pre-Channel Orange. If you know anything about his unofficial compilation of songs, the Lonnie Bro Collection, you know what I mean. And if not, fish around on the internet and find it, then thank me later. Songs like Talent Show, Are You Down, if you don't know by now and want to, feels like Laila's lyrics and her emotions personified. She's on her lover girl tip, going so far as to sending love letters, leaving little notes at lockers, and even messages at the tone. And she commits fully to this throwback vibe by setting up a hotline for her fans with the release of her song Not My Problem, which matches this whole call center vibe of the music video. And from her lo-fi camcorder-styled videos to having voicemail interludes from her family and tracks like Homework Freestyle, which sounds like the equivalent of you freestyling with your friends in your childhood bedroom with magazine cutouts and posters plastered on the wall, you realize that what makes her approach so perfect and authentic is the fact that she's not trying too hard. She's simply being herself. It's the confidence that only teenage you could possess, way before you became a young adult and everyone tried to convince you that you ain't all that, okay? But Laila knows the tea. Overall, it's so refreshing to see this newer generation of artists like Laila approach music in the way that they do, creating and putting every piece together to create a song and a project, from writing and production, then finally releasing it, doing visuals, definitely feels like a breath of fresh air. You can clearly hear that she's a fan of R&B greats that she pulls from, and it really shines on Gap Year. It often does feel like each song is just blending into the other one, so everything after a while sounds the same, but there's a lot of potential to grow. One of my favorite songs on Gap Year is We're So Over. It really has that nostalgic throwback R&B feel. I love to see Laila and SZA, Jhené Aiko, or even a Doechii collaboration. If she plans to collab with rap artists, I feel like it really needs to be someone that matches her fly and her vibe. Not to mention, it's also so refreshing to have an artist that creates songs with relatability, especially as a teenager, but the sound is something that everyone can enjoy. It's not too explicit, you gotta love it. But tell me, have you listened to any of Laila's music, especially Gap Year, and are you feeling it? And if not, who are some of your favorite R&B artists currently? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.